Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to the My Pain is My Power podcast, where each week we have a guest speaker come on and let's talk about it. On tonight, I am honored to have Dr. Kizer on tonight. And you all come on in and come on in and let's hear about it as she talk about it. Again, we have on tonight's episode of episode 7, Dr. Kizer. Dr. K, let me tell you about Dr. K. She is a dedicated advocate for foster care awareness as the founder, CEO of Case Carry On, a nonprofit organization providing resource, brand new rolling luggage to secure their personal items. She also gives small appliances to those aging out and graduating from high school to help make their new place feel like home. With Dr. K, with her book, The Faces of Foster Care, Volume 1 through Volume 4, it sheds light on the often overlooked experience of foster youth, offering a message of hope and resilience. Her expertise and passion for foster care advocacy have earned her recognition as a visionary leader. Dr. K is committed to empowering foster youth and supporting families inspiring in her work continues to make a positive difference in the lives of those. What an amazing bio that is. What an amazing bio that is. That is powerful for what you do and what you're doing for the youth and the foster, the kids, how they go into the system and how they're aging out. As we know, many don't. Well, they come out and don't have anything. So I can continue to keep going on about your bio, but I'm going to stop there and I'm going to welcome you again and let you introduce yourself and let's talk about it.
All right. I'm really happy and excited to be on this Zoom with you, Miss Tanisha, and for those who choose to join us live and even watch the replay. Or those who watch will gain some knowledge from what this interview brings. And um, the goal every day is to gain brand new knowledge that we didn't have yesterday or even 2 hours ago. Let's just constantly gain more knowledge. But I'm really glad to be on here this evening. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for taking out your time. I'm honored to have you on here tonight.
Thanks so much.
Yes, ma'am. So can you tell us all about it and about the foster care? And I know I met you through watching a recording from Jessica, one of our friends, Jessica Brown, that she had sent me, and I heard you speak there, and I was like, your testimony was amazing. How you got up there and represented and talked about the foster system, and about your books, not just one book but several books. How you have other authors, and including myself, the analogy that we come in and that we share our testimonies. And can you just know what's going on and how it all started?
Oh my goodness. Well, I think about the fact that how this all began was because I was bold enough to literally step outside, look up to the heavens, and speak to the Lord about having my own anthology, because he had already blessed me to be involved like in 6 or 7 anthologies with Cindy Ann Rogers. She's a publisher out of Georgia. And when I was first invited to write with her, I felt like that was my opportunity to really tap my feet into the water gently and say, okay, am I really ready to start sharing my own personal story? And my story is primarily about my mother learned that she was expecting a baby. And in the early 1960s, or I'll just say the 1960s, there was no such thing as becoming pregnant and raising that child on your own, like the way they do now. That was really a no-no at that time. And so when she learned that she was expecting a baby, she had three older sisters, and they advised her to go to this home, give birth to me, and leave me. Like, just go ahead and sign her over, just give her to the foster care adoption system. She agreed with them. And one of the things that I'm always telling people is be very cautious about who's in your ear gates, because if we are not following Christ, we could be led somewhere and we're wondering like how we got there. But I'm not going to get on that soapbox right now. But how it all began was my life being born into the foster care system. And then I was invited to share stories through an anthology with that publisher. Her name is Cindy Ann Rogers. And once I started writing, it's like the Lord started bringing things back to me that I had hid way back here. Didn't even know. It's like the traumas can be so severe that we just push them back and we don't even think about pulling them back up for any reason. Well, when I was invited to write, that's when I started like pulling things out of the closet, that I had been holding on to for so long. Nobody even knew my story. No one. And so I started writing that. And then every time she would have another book, I would always write with her, along with other contributing authors. And so after I wrote in about 6 or 7 of her books, then that's when I really got serious with the Lord. And I said, is there anything too hard for the Lord? Like, can I ask him, or may I ask him? May I have my own anthology? And I was real specific. I told him, I said, it has to be for those young people in a foster alumni who have went through the foster care system. They've been raised by a relative. They're emancipated, juvenile detention, they're literally just orphans. They grew up in foster homes or group homes. I said, Father, those are the ones that I want to capture. Those are the ones that you even tell us in your word, do unto the least of these, which means we've done it unto him. That's the way I understand his word. And so I did go outside. I did look up to the heavens. And to me, this was a bold move. That's like, oh, I don't know. It's just hard to try to put that into words. But I just said, may I, and I just say Abba, Father, because he's my daddy. May I have my own anthology, and it's only going to be for this population of people, which means not everyone is invited to come and write, because not everyone grew up in foster care or in a group home or juvenile detention, or orphaned, emancipated. Well, within that, not too long after I asked that question, it started. And Cindy Ann Rogers, she was bold also, the publisher. And she put a note out there in our little group. And she said, is there anyone that would be interested in writing with Dr. K, about pertaining to foster care, sharing your story? And I thought, oh my gosh, I didn't know that the Lord was going to use the publisher. But I thought like, okay, this is good. I like this. And sure enough, one contributing author came forth, and her name is Chaplain Melissa Venezuela. And she said that she would write. And then it just kind of expanded. It's like it spread it like wildfire, like it go from one person to another person and another person. And what I love about the Lord is, even though I did not know anyone in the foster care system, I still asked, which means, guess what? I laid it in his lap, and he had to do what I would consider to be the hard work. But he already knew who was in foster care. And these people were already in the group. They were already writing for Cindy Ann Rogers. And so sure, the first person that reached out and said yes was Chaplain Melissa. She'll probably be one of your individuals that you'll have an opportunity to interview as well. But she grew up in group homes, and so you probably have an opportunity to allow her to share her amazing story. But she's one of the faces of foster care authors. So this is how it all began, was literally just from my own life, and then making a choice to stop having pity parties, stop inviting people to my pity party, and then doing something different. The Lord was sharing with me that it was not about me. Like, my story is to help others and to stop thinking that it's all about you, Kay Kizer. So that's how all this began.
That is beautiful. Isn't that something? It's amazing how God works, how, our Father, Heavenly Father, Yahweh, as you said, Abba, our Father, how you went outside and you looked up, you took that bold move, and, you did it. You didn't allow fear to keep you back from doing it. You stepped out there on faith. You asked questions, and you went forward with it. And like you said, not knowing, he had already been working in the background and everything. And it's just amazing how he works. And how long were you in the foster system?
From birth until 18, and then after that I joined the Army.
Wow. That is something, and how you have turned what you've gone through, how you went through the foster system, and you came out and you turned that around. You didn't, allow that to keep you down or anything. But too, I remember listening to you. You were saying that it was a young guy on there, and I think you were saying about how many people, how they go into the foster system, when they come out, they don't have anything. I remember you talking about the garbage bag.
That's correct.
And so, because I know some people, I was going to be a part of CASA, be a court appointed specialist advocate. And I remember them talking about how the kids are going through the foster systems, and they don't think that they can come out on the other side, and how you could still graduate. You can get a high school diploma, you can college, and I know you say you went to the military. Can you elaborate and talk to them about that? Because many people think because they go through the foster system that they're a statistic and that they're just labeled, and they come out with nothing, and some just have that black plastic bag. Like,
that is so true. Yes, and one of the things that I will give the military many kudos for is that they never gave us a trash bag for anything, not even for our laundry. Everything was packed so neatly inside of this rucksack that we carried, and packed neatly, folded neatly. And I thought, in my mind, I think about that even now, like the military is willing to go the extra step to make sure that everything is presented to us in a way that it should be. The foster care system does not do that. They'll just, maybe a police officer will come and pick that child up, or black trash bag. And I always tell people that even if it's a scented trash bag, it's still a trash bag. And the child is going to view it as that. So it can be well scented, and it could be pastel colors, or, it's still a trash bag. And I always think about how, and we would never ever take a trash bag into an airport and set it up there to have it checked in. So I don't know exactly what we're teaching these children when we do that kind of stuff, because it becomes a mark in their memory that, number one, I'm trash, and apparently all my items must be trash because they're placed in a trash bag. So that's really unfortunate. But one of the things that I'm very thankful to the Lord for, and I'll always be, is regardless of how life began for me, that I was born on purpose and I was born in purpose. And a lot of people might say, oh, well, you were a mistake. Like your biological dad didn't even know you existed. Only your biological mom knew. But I'm learning now, just even from reading, even in the Bible, that there are young people that came forth, that the Lord actually used them, He had use for them. So what we discard, the Lord will pick up and say, I have use of you. I keep thinking about this one story in the Bible about how the Yeshua had told his disciples that there's going to be a donkey, and I'm going to give you this donkey. And his disciples did exactly what he told them to do. Go get that donkey. That's the donkey that Yeshua was going to sit on and ride into Jerusalem, I believe. And even the donkey, if people would look at it this way, the donkey was born in purpose and for purpose, because that's the selected donkey, correct? So when we look at it that way, it's like, wow, every living thing on this earth, even the fish in the ocean, we all have purpose. We were all born on purpose and in purpose. And so um, using the words, that child was a mistake, or like they're not even supposed to be here. And, all those terminology that's completely negative, those words are to never be said. So for anyone who feels like they're a nobody, which I had wrote a chapter about being on the island of misfit toys. If anybody watches Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, which that's one of my favorite shows. But when I would watch that show, I would always think about how I was one of those toys, because remember, my biological mother was given instructions by her older siblings to go and have the baby, but leave it there. So what happened with the toys on the island? They were left there. No one had need for Charlie in the box, or the train that had square wheels. When you think about that, it's really sad, because they're still toys. Any child would pick those toys up and enjoy them. And I'm going to say faults and all. They would just say, oh, it's okay that the wheels aren't round. I'll still play with it. And so I just feel like no matter how we came to this world that Yahweh created, He still has use of us. So I want you to lift your head, and I want you to just realize that you were born on purpose, in purpose, and that you are a masterpiece, because you are you're a piece of the master. So when we look at our lives in that way, it's kind of like, oh gosh, no matter what someone says about me, I'm a part of the master. I'm his masterpiece. So that's how I want for anyone who watches this video to understand, the greatness of our God, and we are born of him. So that makes us great as well.
Yes. Yes, that's beautiful. Again, Brittany is here, and you have a lot of others here watching as well. And Brittany said, hey, y'all. And you have Alicia and Mary and Stephen Tubbs and Takesha Edwards. And you have some great support here, and they're here watching again. And
All
Brittany
right.
said,
That's great.
hey, y'all. Brittany, too, she has gone through the foster system as well. And she have luggages, and she collects them and passes them out, to the kids who's going through or has gone through the foster system as well. And so
Yes.
I think that's very good what y'all are doing. And can you talk about your luggages, like how you got into that? And
That actually began through, um, I'm an Army veteran, and so I was blessed to attend a women's veteran retreat in Galveston, Texas. And I had the same counselor each day I was there. And I remember on the third day of that counselor's session, we were getting ready to start talking about my childhood, which that was a real tough topic. I went ahead and I was just sharing with her, some of the things that I had experienced. And one of the things was I was being sexually by older foster children in the home. And even now, I just pray that the Lord will give me an opportunity to even teach workshops about how important it is that adults that are caring for children make sure that you keep the doors open, stop what you're doing, take a pause, in your day, whatever it is. Even if you're preparing dinner, guess what? Pause, walk down the hallway, see what's going on in those bedrooms, because that's unnecessary. That should not be occurring. And then I also was perpetrated on by my biological, well, not my biological mother, but one of the foster families that I lived with. She had a favorite nephew. And every time he had an opportunity to touch on me, or if I was in a room alone, how unfortunately, people will take advantage of that time alone. You're thinking they're there to love on you, but not in a way that children don't even understand, how adults, they don't understand that aspect of life yet because they're too young to understand. But touching in on body parts that should not be, the private areas. And so once I was talking to the counselor, and we finally came out of talking about that hard stuff, this creative idea came to me, and I know it was 100% the Lord, but it's like giving. At that time, I was giving gently used rolling luggage, but I've learned better now. I don't go that route. I give brand new. But giving children that are in care, giving them a brand new piece of luggage, filling it with items that they need when they come into care. And I have been a foster parent before for 13 years. And so when a child arrives on your doorstep, you don't necessarily have everything that that child needs. And so sometimes they'll come to you with a diaper and a t-shirt and not even any shoes. And so it's like, okay, what do I do with this situation? So you're scrambling, trying to find clothes and bottles and socks and you name it. You're just trying to fill in where you can. And so the Lord just making sure that these kids have what they need. And I was never introduced to the creator of the universe. No, I still find that so hard to believe, even as I say that out loud on this StreamYard, that how can you be in that many foster homes and to you about Christ? So what I do is I make sure that there's age appropriate Bibles in those rolling luggage, because the Lord was real specific. It had to be rolling luggage. It had to have wheels on it. So I've had people give me what I would consider the old timey luggage that has no wheels on it. And a creative idea that the Lord gave me once again was to take that luggage to homeless shelters, because the people that are homeless, guess what? They still need a way to secure their personal items. They don't need it in plastic bags and, they just need it secure. They need it on wheels so they can roll it, even if they have to leave from out of one room in that homeless shelter to another, they can still transport it, to where it needs to go. So it's amazing how when we ask the Lord for creative ideas, he'll definitely give them to us. So I've had several ministries donate boxes. I'm talking about brand new Bibles, age appropriate Bibles. Pretty it's amazing what we can open up our mouth and request, and the Lord will make sure that we have it. You know, He'll give us the provisions for what we're for our own vision, for the vision that He's blessed us with. So I love that too. I even had a military. It was a veteran organization. They knew what I was doing, and they even donated like cases of brand new Bibles. And I thought, oh my gosh! I said, Lord, you're even using the military. Well, I guess He said, why not? So that's where the creative idea came from, and I love, I just love doing it, knowing that I can be a solution to a problem. And I see myself as a solutionist. I believe we all are. It's just that not all of us tap in and say, well, Father, what's on your heart today? How can I help even the people in my community? And He'll give us a creative idea. We just have to ask. And then once He shares that with us, then we need to move forward with it and not just sit on it, but do something. So that's how Kay's Carry On came about.
Yes, that's a blessing. That is a blessing. You turned your pain into purpose. Your pain
Yes.
is your power, and you're moving forward with it. You didn't just sit on it. You moved. You activated in purpose. And
Oh,
as you
yes.
said earlier, we have to be mindful what we say to kids and around kids, because
Mhm.
a lot of times we're not attentive and don't realize that we could be sowing something into that child, and that we don't realize that when that child get older, that child is going to remember the things that happened in their childhood or something that was said, because some people think that kids don't remember things. They think that kids are lying when they say, oh, this happened, or this person said that about me or to me, you know, and you're a witness of that, but you remember.
Oh, yes.
You remember, and I remember as well. I didn't go through the foster system, but what you call it, kinship. I was
Kinship. That's
adopted.
right.
Yes,
Yes.
and so I know what it's like to be taken and placed to somewhere else from my mom and my dad. But I know, I wasn't still with my mom and with my dad. So I know what that is to be, like I said, to be out of that household. And we just got to be
Hmm.
mindful, like what we say around kids and to kids. And like you said, keep that door open, because people, men, women, because women do these things to the kids. And every chance a person, they will go to grooming that child. They will, all it take is those split seconds, those moments, and to just go into that room and do something to that child. And trauma, as we know, is real.
That it
We
is.
that
It's
trauma is
real.
real. It is so real. I heard you talk about as well how when you started writing, you started unfolding things started coming back up to the surface, because too, when we're younger, we are able to suppress these things and to carry on with life. But as we get older and we start talking about it, letting it out, and writing about it, then things come up and come to the surface. And if we hadn't dealt with these things, unresolved traumas from our childhood and past, then it can haunt us and it can affect us.
So true. That is true.
Yes. And Mary Havens, she's on here. She shared her testimony 2 episodes ago. She said no one
Oh,
knows.
okay.
Yes, she said no one knows the heartache of a child entering an unfamiliar home. You are a blessing to those who enter your life. I can only imagine how those children feel love, and they are grateful and they're thankful for you.
Amen. Amen.
Yes. What would you say to somebody who's going through or who's going through or who's gone through the foster system, and they're feeling hopeless and feeling like there is no hope for them. And maybe they've become homeless because they didn't know what to do or where to turn.
So true. Yes. That is a tough situation to be in when you um, have no hope. Um, it's always definitely good to be with people who are optimistic, who have a beautiful outlook on this life that we live. And again, just realizing that we are here on purpose, in purpose, finding out what it is that how you can be of use to our heavenly Father. Like, what is it that He wants for you to do? And once you grab a hold of that, and you may have to go outside and look up to the heavens like I did and say, okay, Daddy God, I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing. I don't know why I'm here on this earth. And I personally know that there were many times that I would say, like, who am I? Like, why am I even here? What am I supposed to be doing? Who can I help? And a lot of times, if we don't get our own help, if we don't go and get our therapies, which I'm an advocate for that because I'm an Army veteran. And so I'm blessed to get my counseling, whether it's in person, whether it's by Zoom, it doesn't matter. I still get it. And I see nothing negative about treating yourself as being so valuable and so important, because in order for you to be able to help someone else, you've got to take care of you first. You have to get your mental health in order. You have to make sure that that you're just really feeling good about yourself, that someone else has positive words and comments, affirmations for you. Those are the type of people that you want to spend your time with. Just be real mindful of who you spend time with. Just like I was saying earlier, that we have to pay attention to who's in our ear gates. Same thing. We have to spend time. We even have to ask the Lord to close doors and say, you know what, if that person or those people are not supposed to be in my life, then Father in heaven, I give you permission to remove them out of my life. And you're welcome to replace them with the people that you do want in my life. I always think about this scenario about how millionaires become millionaires, and who do they spend their time with? Do you think that millionaires spend time with people who are out on the street, and that helps them to become even better millionaires? To my understanding, millionaires spend time with probably even billionaires, because they need to learn from that billionaire how to become a billionaire, even though they're a millionaire. So we have to be so selective, and we have to say, well, Lord, who is supposed to be in my life? Send them. Send my destiny helpers, because we all have them. But do we open up our mouth and say, where are my destiny helpers? Just like I stood outside and asked about the book. May I have a book? And then he responds with, I don't even think I even got a yes. He just showed himself through individuals who said, yes, I'll write in that anthology pertaining to foster care. That's how it worked. He showed, as I was growing up, I remember this comment about how I can show you better than I can tell you. That's, I believe, what the Lord was doing. He's like, forget about me telling you. I'm going to show you. And the Lord loves to show off, because that means he gets the glory. It's kind of like, okay, you don't have to tell me anything. I want to see it. And that's what he has been doing in this life of mine. And I'm soon to write my own story. I'm believing the Lord that it's going to be, I'm going to say, even greater than #1 Amazon New York bestseller. I mean, I'm asking the Lord for better than the best, because this is like my story all in one book, not in anthologies, where you get a piece of me here and a piece of me there. No, it's all going to be condensed in one book. And May is Foster Care Awareness Month. So I'm trying to get the book published before that date, before May. because I'm going to be at uh, our very first foster care. What do we call it? Faces of Foster Care Youth Expo, and it's going to be in Brooklyn, New York. And I'd love to give many of those books away. So it's like, okay, Lord, you got to help me to, take time to finish this book up and make sure that it's an excellent, that I would present it excellent to the Lord first and foremost, and then be able to give the books away. That's what I love about being an author too, is we can just give our books away. We don't have to sell them. We can just get them in the hands of the right politician, the right minister, man, woman of God, whatever. You don't have to sell everything. Just get them in the hands of the right people, right? That's the way I look at it.
That's right. And I can't wait for your book to come out. I can't wait. Like you said, it's going to be beyond the best selling of the New York first time, and it's going to go global. And I just can't wait to hear
Amen.
about it and see about it. And congratulations on getting ready to go to New York.
Yes,
Wow,
Brooklyn, New
that's
York.
big.
Yes.
And that is amazing. Won't God do it? It's
Amen.
amazing.
2026, we're going to either do it in Austin, Texas, or San Antonio, because we want people to be able to step out of that youth expo knowing where we will be the following year. And we just want it to be every year. Wherever the Lord sends us, we're
Let him take you, let him use you, and he will do it. Isn't that something? What the
yes.
enemy meant for bad, God turns around and he uses for good. There's
Amen.
always light on the other side of darkness, and that's what I
I
tell
agree.
people all the time. There is
Yes.
always light. The enemy try to keep us bound, stuck, keep those chains and strongholds and shackles on us, but God, Yahweh, Yahshua,
Amen.
he will do it.
That's right.
Hallelujah. He will do it. And yes, and we are so honored to have you here tonight to share your testimony and to, share your testimony with myself and just to let them know that how you said, how you talked about the goodness of God, what He's done for you, and how He brought you to, and how He brought you through. And Mary just said, keep on telling your story. Everyone has a story, and it's your time to share it with the world. Keep on, keep on. Our stories all are not the same as we
That's
all hear and see, but we all have a testimony. We all have a story. Many of us may not all be a survivor of sexual assault or domestic violence. You shared how you've experienced the sexual assault as well, and how you've gone through the foster system, and how, but you also, your testimony is powerful because you came out, you made it out. You didn't stay, you didn't allow that to stuck or stagnant. You went on, you carry on, like how you say, "Okay, carry on." You going on and you going forward. You went on to the military, and
Amen.
you're doing the work of the Lord. You're allowing God to use you, and so it doesn't matter where our background, where we come from. He can use us right in our brokenness, as Jesus said. He come from the
Mhm.
lost, the hurt, the sick, the wounded, the poor, and the broken. They're not looking for
That's right.
the ones that are already whole, healed, and ready. He's using us, the lost ones, the hurt children, the hurt little girl, the hurt little boy, and how he and just making us whole, and how he's turning our pain into purpose, and he turns your pain into purpose, and your pain is your power. And just thank you so much for sharing your testimony. Thank you for
Yes.
coming on.
Yes.
You just
Yes.
keep on
Yes.
carrying on. And
That's
if
all I know to do.
yes, yes. If
Yes.
others want to connect with you and others want you to come on their platform or get you to speak on one of their episodes or at the place of their locations, how could they connect with you and reach you?
Yes. One of the things that you were just saying, I wanted to tap in that about we all have a story. Do you realize that the Bible, number one, is an anthology? Because look at all the authors that are in there, right? The Lord used each one of them to share what needed to be shared with the people who hold the Bible, who read it. And then something else about sharing our story is the fact that for those who don't realize it, that we serve a voice activated God. creator, because in the beginning he said, "Let there be light." And this was before the sun was created. So we have to really pay attention to what we say. We had better say that I am a child of the King. I am his beloved. I am healed. I am loved. I am shielded. I'm protected. We had better open up our mouths and start saying what he says about us, which are the same things that I heard you say a little while ago, Miss Tanisha. And I love that because when we speak, I believe that's when things begin to manifest. Like when I took time to speak and say, "May I have an anthology?" He was waiting for me to open up my mouth, even though he knew what I was thinking. So for those of you who are watching now and even watch the replay, pay attention to what you say. And if there's anything that you're believing the Lord for, speak it into the atmosphere, because the creator of the universe hears you and he will answer you as well. So that was something that I just wanted to at least end with that. And then I also wanted to let you all know that the Faces of Foster Care, we use the scripture that talks about how we overcome by the blood of the Lamb, which is Yeshua, and by the word of our testimony. If we don't ever open up our mouth, if we withhold our message, even though it may be messy, then we're doing a disservice, to the Lord. He's already gave us really, and we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of our testimony. We're just talking about him. We're bragging about the one true living God, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. And so we may as well just open up our mouth and say, yes, I did go through A, B, and C, and even D, but guess what? He was with me the whole time. And I now have a testimony and I'm going to share it. So it doesn't matter how good, bad, or ugly it is. Tell your story, because you're going to bless the next person that hears your voice activation message. Because someone's going to hear it and say, oh my gosh, oh, their story sounds just like mine. Oh, I went through that. Oh, yes. Like, you're going to resonate and you're going to connect with that person. So share your story for sure. And one way that you can definitely locate me is I'm on Facebook under Dr. K. Kizer. I'm also on Instagram in several different ways. Favored underscore K is one of the ways. And then it's also a K underscore Carry, Carry underscore ON. And then you can also email me, which is kkizer, the number 3 at gmail.com. I would love to be invited to come and speak, share my story, because I feel like the more I share my story, the more healing I receive. It's like, okay, it's like a little bit more balm, that balm of Gilead. It's like, okay, the more she shares her story, I'm just going to apply a little bit more balm, because there's healing in that. So, yes, I would gladly come and speak and, interact with those that are in the audience. And I'm just as normal and real as, and I'll just say down to earth. I'm not one of those people that just because I have a PhD, that doesn't make me any better than anyone else. The only reason I have a PhD is because my foster families told me to just graduate from high school and get a full-time job. They never encouraged me to go to school, to even get an associate's degree, a bachelor's degree, a master's, and definitely not a PhD. So it's like, okay, well, they're telling me this, but Lord, if it's your will, work it out to where I can just that he would elevate me. And he did, little by little. It was all in his doing. So for those of you that have been told something negative when it comes to education, go to school, go to vocational. I want to say there's a technical schools, and go to nursing, become a chef. There's all types of things you can do. So don't limit yourself, Remember, we serve a limitless Yahweh, who the world refers to as God, but he is limitless. So you are a product of him. So guess what? You're limitless. There's nothing you can't do, right? That's the way I look at it. Thank you. I'm just so excited about this interview. I've been waiting for it all day, so I'm just thrilled. Thank you again.
You are welcome. Thank you. I've been excited for it as well. Yeah, I know the enemy tried to throw in darts and everything, but we cast him down and got that out the way, and God worked it out, and it just can't, everything is so clear and smooth and
Yes.
just on point, and it's just amazing. And you touched so much and elaborated on so much and talked about how Yahweh, that's number one right there. Keep him first. Put him first. If y'all don't have a relationship with him, I encourage you to get one, because you will not be disappointed. When the enemy gets to speaking those thoughts in your mind, immediately cast them down, because they are not real. Just
Right.
false evidence of hearing real. Step out there on faith. Trust God. Choose God. And
Yes.
you said, and I was looking as well, and I know with they have so many different programs now. The Mississippi Office of the State Financial Aid, I know, like, now if kids have gone through the foster system and are wanting to go to college, they have so many different grants and so many different scholarships that are available out there. And
Mhm.
so students, child, or even adults, like, you don't have to just stay there where you are. If you are in that dark place, you can't come up out of there. You can go to college, like Dr. K said. You can move forward, even if it's little bit by bit. There are so many new resources that are available. Google, so many different social media pages have so many different tools that were not in place back then that are in places now. And as I said, and Dr. K said, just find somebody that you can trust and connect with. Get around the right people. You're not alone in this thing. And Dr. K gave her information. She's available. You can contact me. I'm available as well on Messenger, my Gmail. My pain is my power, LLC at gmail.com. And you don't have to feel hopeless. You don't have to feel like you're alone. And we are here to support you. And thank you again, Dr. K, for coming on and sharing your amazing testimonies. And lastly, where can they purchase the books from? Where can they get the Faces of Volume 1, 2, 3, and 4?
Those are with Amazon. They're also with Barnes and Noble. I went online actually, and I found them on Thrift Books, eBay, the Kindle store, Google Books, um, and Frugal Frigate, which I'm not sure what that is. But those are the ones I just kind of went in and typed in the Faces of Foster Care, and I found it like in many places that it can be located. So yeah, that's what I did my little research this afternoon, typed it in. That's what came up.
Okay, I
And
see
you
that as
all, if
well.
I wanted to share also that if you all ever want to have like a luggage or a blanket drive, a sock drive, I've noticed that a lot of foster kids are really needing socks, um, a blanket drive, and also stuffed animal drive in the city where you live. And I don't mind coming to where you're at, and that we can give the items away right there in the community where you live, which means you're just the community involvement is of great importance. So, like wherever you are, I've gave luggage out in Tupelo, Mississippi, and I live in Florida. So I just will go wherever just to make sure that the children receive what they get. I've also went to Houston, Texas, to deliver rolling luggage to a young man who was graduating from high school, and actually aging out of the foster care system at the same time. So that's kind of like a double whammy, right? It's kind of like, well, I'm aging out and I'm graduating. So it's kind of like, yeah, they deserve to have their rolling luggage. You never know. They may be blessed to travel somewhere, and visit someone. At least they've got their luggage. And um, as long as they're flying here in the States, there's no need for a passport. So, yeah, that's something I like to do too.
Well, that's awesome, y'all. I mean, come on now. You all, let's connect with Dr. K. As she said, she's all the way in Florida. She is willing to travel. And if you would like to donate to her ministry and organization, please do so and help out. These kids are in need. So let's all help out and be a part in some type of way. And so I just want to thank you again. I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. And this will not be our last time talking. And thank you so much for your testimony. And I thank you all for sharing, for tuning in and listening. And Mary, again, she has been in this chat comment. She said your is radiant. Thank you for sharing. Your words are powerful.
Thank you. Wow, that's exciting. That's exciting. I look forward to just, like I said, I'm an educator at heart, so I love to take time to share, how we as a people can help the least of these, which is how Yeshua refers to them. He says, when you do it unto the least of these, you're doing it unto me. And, that's pretty amazing. Even when we take care of a widow, she's very limited, with what she can do, whether it's a man or a woman. But he tells us, he even wants us to take care of the widows and the orphans. The orphans, guess what? Neither one of the class of people can pay us back. That makes it even better, right? So that's probably why he says, you've done it unto me. That means he's going to bless us. He's going to meet the needs that we personally have. And I love that.
I love that too. So y'all, we don't have to do this just for a blessing, because Yahweh, Yahshua, Mashua, they're already going to take care of it. It's already done. So we just do our part. Do it out of the kindness of your heart. Don't do it to expect something in return. Yes. Yes. Thank you again, Dr. K. Thank everybody for tuning in. And if anybody's out there, and if you would like to connect with Dr. K, please do so. She has dropped all of her information out there, as well as myself. And if you would love to come on the podcast, the My Pain is My Power podcast, and be a guest speaker and share your testimony. You don't have to be a sexual assault or a domestic violence survivor. You don't have to have gone through trauma. But we all have a story. It's not all abuse. I mean, we all have gone through something in some type of way, and just get it out there, because you just never know who you may help. And therapy is important, healing is important, and just connect with the right people and allow God to start using you. And until next time, you all, we will see you all, and be blessed and have a blessed night. Thank you.